You know that voice in your head, and no, I don't mean the one that reminds you to pick up milk. I'm talking about the other one, the one that's often, well, a lot less friendly. Today, we're going to dive into a pretty cool technique to not just quiet, but to actually tame that inner critic. All right, so let's just start with a really simple question. And I want you to take a second and really think about it. Who is your harshest, most relentless critic? You know, the one who points out every single little mistake and just never seems to be satisfied?
Yeah, if you're like pretty much all of us, the answer isn't some tough boss or a rival or even that critical aunt. The person who judges you the most harshly is the one you're with 24/7. It's you.
So let's get to know this voice a little bit better. What does it actually sound like when it really gets going?
Does any of this ring a bell? That nagging feeling that you're just not measuring up? That little voice that whispers, you're definitely going to fail before you even start? Or the mental replay of a mistake over and over. Why did you do that? And of course, the classic comparison game, where it feels like literally everyone else is smarter, quicker, and just better. This is the soundtrack of our inner critic, and wow, can it be exhausting. But what if we could change the station? What if the solution isn't to try and fight this voice, but to invite a new one in? Now, it might sound a little strange at first, I get it, but stick with me, because this is where we introduce a very unlikely and incredibly powerful ally. Okay, so let's just look at the two options we have here. Over on the left, you've got the inner critic. Its whole job is to zoom in on your flaws, and it uses super harsh, demanding language. But on the right, we have the compassionate friend. Now, this voice doesn't pretend problems don't exist, but it sees your effort. It speaks with kindness. It's patient. So the goal here isn't to completely silence the critic. It's just to turn up the volume on the friend. And look, I know what you might be thinking. This isn't just some feel-good, wishful thinking kind of thing. This whole technique is actually rooted in real, established therapeutic principles. It's all grounded in the science of self-compassion. This whole idea comes from a field called compassionate mind training. It's a real therapeutic approach, and it's designed specifically to help people develop self-compassion as a skill, as a tool to dial down that constant self-criticism. So this imaginary friend technique we're talking about, it's a core, practical exercise that comes directly from this field. And this is the really important part. This isn't just a nice idea, it is a tested clinical intervention. Therapists use this exact method to help people build genuine, lasting self-esteem. So yeah, it's a real tool that's been proven to actually work. Okay, so how do we actually do it? How do we bring this compassionate friend to life? Let's get into the practical how-to part of this explainer, because it all boils down to a really simple but honestly pretty profound exercise. It's basically a three-step process. First up, you envision this friend. This could be a real person you know who just adores you, or maybe a wise figure you look up to. It could even be a kinder, older version of yourself. Step two, you write a letter to yourself. But, and this is the trick, you write it from their perspective. What would this unconditionally loving person say to you right now, knowing everything you're dealing with? And then step three, and please do not skip this part, you read that letter aloud to yourself. You have to let yourself actually hear those words of kindness. You know, doing this just once can be a really powerful experience, but turning it into a regular practice, that's when you start to see a real fundamental shift. It's all about the incredible power of changing your perspective. And this, right here, this is the heart of it. Just imagine your compassionate friend saying this directly to you. You deserve the same kindness you so freely give to others. It's such a simple truth, isn't it? But it's the one we so often forget to apply to ourselves. So why does all this matter? What's the real payoff? Well, for one, it breaks those awful negative thought loops. It also helps you build an actual habit of being kind to yourself. It creates a little bit of space between you and the criticism, so you can see it for what it is. It's just a thought. It's not a fact. And maybe, most importantly, it reinforces your own inherent worth, just as you are. So, I'll leave you with this to think about. If that harsh, critical voice in your head was replaced with a kind, supportive one, what would you finally have the courage to do? What big, scary, amazing thing would you finally go out and try?